For the first time in 16 years, there will be a new sheriff in town, and this after current Sheriff Richard Wiles steps down at the end of the year, retiring from law enforcement after 40 years of service.
It's certainly a highly contested race where 5 candidates are all running for the coveted seat, and to help you make an informed decision when you head to the polls, we have a preview to this race. KTSM 9 News reporter Jesus Baltazar is live from our studio tonight to break down the race for the county's top law enforcement spot. Jesus.
These 5 candidates will face off in the primary election on March 5th. And with early voting now underway until March 1st, we introduce you to each candidate with extensive law enforcement experience. They tell us why they are the best suited for the job.
Where I moved up in rank from corporal to sergeant to lieutenant, and the lieutenant was a patrol division commander, where I managed 250 officers and 5 patrol companies.
I did 22 years with the Sheriff's Department. Now I have 5 years with El Paso ISD. During the time with the Sheriff's Department, I led our search and rescue team. I started and established animal control for the Sheriff's Department at the time.
I have 20 years of combined law enforcement experience, and I am the only candidate that actually has been elected to oversee and administer a county office. So I have experience on being a leader and administrator and running a county office.
I'm the only candidate that's went out, applied, and advocated for millions of dollars to come into this community for school resource officers, for crisis intervention teams.
There are several challenges that go with that when you're managing 1,800 inmates. So no other candidate has run the biggest division in the sheriff's office other than I have.
The El Paso County Sheriff's Office operates with a budget of well over $100 million. The candidates explain the complexities and importance of managing such a large budget.
But I think communication is key when it comes to budgeting. If you have no communication, you're not getting any input for the people that actually run those divisions, then you're not going to be able to properly maintain that budget.
We have to be very frugal with our money. And as an organization, you know, we have to make our cars last a little longer. We have to make sure that all of our materials, our computer systems, that everything, we make everything last. We have to be very accountable to our taxpayers.
Letting the county know our needs, while also hearing the concerns of commissioners as they face sometimes shortfalls in the budget. And how do we make adjustments without affecting services to our community?
To make that budget process, you forecast, you have a budget team that actually help you. You know, what are we forecasting? Is the department gonna grow? Salaries increased on fleet, gasoline? So you have a whole team behind you.
As for the rapidly growing areas in East El Paso, they explain what they believe is needed.
We are actively working with our Commissioner's Court to find a location to build an additional station in that area, because having a community station is important in that area for the community to go make reports, to make sure that they see the presence of law enforcement.
Of course, within time, the way El Paso East Side is growing, I'm going to have to ask for more officers. We're going to have to at least, I'm going to just throw a number, I don't know exactly, at least 20 to 40 more officers to be out in the field.
But I believe that me being a sheriff, that I can do that. I believe that I can bring more officers on through grants. I believe that we can allocate different resources to different areas to make sure that there's coverage.
Okay, so we need to really conduct an assessment of where our people are assigned right now, and we may need to reallocate personnel. There are only 2 patrol districts out there, and that's been the same since that I can recall about 2012.
The El Paso County Jail and Jail Annex, which the Sheriff's Office oversees, have been under much scrutiny after a series of recent inmate murders.
The other concern that I have there is that you have these untrained officers working in the cell blocks prior to getting any training. When you work the cell block and you go in and see inmates, you're supposed to look for the anomaly in the behavior and how the inmates work.
We need to make sure that the officers, sergeants are not just in the office. They should be out there walking the tanks, you know, to make sure that they do their normal whether it's every 15 or 30-minute visual head count.
Transparency is #1 key to have public trust. Another thing that we need to work on, best practices. Do we need to review policies? Do the officers need better training? We need to work together, you know, with county attorneys, with Commissioner's Court.
Just over a year ago, a crisis intervention team was implemented into the sheriff's office to improve officer responses to situations involving individuals suspected of being in a mental health crisis. Candidates discussed its effectiveness.
It needs improvement. The sheriff's office is way behind. Crisis intervention teams have been around for over 15 years nationwide. The sheriff's office just implemented about 2.5 years ago, and they're at 10 teams. By the size of this county, what I want to do is every deputy that graduates from the academy is going to have the crisis intervention training.
But expanding that training to our patrol officers and into our detention facilities is important too, because the training is a 3-week long training. It's classroom, but then also scenario based, and it's very intensive. I've sat in on the training, seen my officers go through it.
With the mental health unit, the emergency health network, working with them and having the officers train with them would help give the officer a more comfort zone.
The crisis intervention teams are doing an amazing job, but we need to do more. We need to train every single deputy in reference to crisis intervention. Right now you have a deputy that rides along with one crisis intervention officer, but when the deputy first makes contact, that contact is important.
If none of the 5 candidates win 50% or more of the vote, the top 2 vote getters will head to a runoff election in May 28th. Check out our website at ktsm.com, where we'll be having the complete interview with each of the candidates. I'm Jesus Baltazar, KTSM 9 News. Back to you.